Good day and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Collins. On today's video, we're working on our second task, which is task 2, where we've been asked to do a couple of tasks and then return data. Basically, today we're going to be dealing with returning data. So in the next slide, we'll be dealing with that. But in our next video, we won't be working on the task actually. I will also mention that in the video, but we'll be working on something different actually. We'll actually be discussing on some little we'll discuss about SQL itself, talk about the type of database, talk about CTEs. I just want to say things randomly. Windows version, talk about databases, talk about a lot of things. So please don't forget to always subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the like button, share, and do what to comment. So see you right into the next video. It's actually my first time making a YouTube video, so I might not be orderly arranged, but with time I'll make it to perfection. Thank you. So moving on, we're going to ask. So we're working on task 2, which is return the full name from the table patient data. I'll be given a series of tasks to complete. So first, I won't do that actually. I wanted to return the full. Okay, let me just do that. I'm going to return the full table patient data. Show you how you can return the full table if you want to return the whole data and everything. So you're going to start with your select statement. So this star is everything. Then you specify the table that you want to select it from. Select from patient's data. Put this. So the semicolon here is used to end your query. Then when you finish, then you run it. Press execute. So let's say go. Something some SQL some SQL notes you could see someone say go. So when they mean go, they mean execute. So when you do this, you return the whole table having patient ID, full name, gender, date of birth, phone number, email, registration time, and outstanding balance. So moving on to the first question that says write a SQL query to retrieve the full names and phone numbers of all female patients who have an outstanding balance greater than 1,000. So they specify that we should return it for all female patients, not the full patient, but just for female patients. So first, write your select from the table. Okay. So we asked to return the full name, the phone number, and then we asked to return the gender also. Let's call the gender. Then what else? And then outstanding balance. So the question says you should return it where the outstanding balance is greater than 1,000. So you're going to use the where clause. The where clause will help you return a specific data or a specific row in a column, and not just that. Going to return it on a specific condition. Yes, I'm going to use a specific condition will be much better. Where gender equals. So this equals is it's a comparison operator. So it's mostly used with the where clause or the group by clause to return rows and columns. So we have gender equals, they said specifically we should return for female, and this also is a comparison operator, and where outstanding balance said it's greater than 1,000. So when we run this, it goes into the column outstanding balance, then goes into the column for gender and outstanding balance, and looks for where the gender is female and the outstanding balance is above 1000. So if it goes into the table and it goes into these specific rows, and then maybe let's say it gets a female patient that the outstanding balance is below 1000, it won't return it, because specifically be given it this order, return only above 1000. So when you run this, you should have, yes, so full name Adobe Okafor, Ngozi Nwankwo, phone number, gender, and then you see the outstanding balance here is 15,000 and 3,200. So it's above it. So moving on to the next, we've been asked here to find the average outstanding balance of all male patients. So we start by the select from, specify the table, patients data, remove. So they say they should find the average outstanding balance for all male patients. So gender, since we're going to be dealing with gender, and then we look for the average. So the average. So if I had put this, I mean, you should look for the average of. So it won't be gender this time around. If I wanted to use average, like for all patients, not specifically a specific gender, let's say I'm looking for the rate of the whole, the whole outstanding balance, like the average for the whole outstanding balance in the table. I won't specify with the average. If it's going to, I won't specify if I'm going to be returning average outstanding for for male patients. I'll just do an average for everything and specify outstanding balance, and that is gonna work. I might have like mixed up my words, but let me just show them. Let me explain it down. Like sorry. So we have outstanding balance of it. So we have this, and we're going to specify where gender equals male, and then now we're going to group it by gender, because we're going to group this average balance by gender. So we say the group by gender, and you run this. So we have gender male, and then we have just one person whose name. So okay, we didn't give a name for the column here. So what I mean by that is that we're meant to represent this, give it an alias. So an alias is like representing um let me say in mathematical terms, it's saying let x represent y, or let this group of people represent y. So when you return the data back, you're going to have y instead of those group of people. So when I say average outstanding balance as um let's say average balance, average balance, it means that this column name won't be no column name, it's going to be average balance as the column name. So an alias gives a column another name, so that when you return it, it's going to have that name that you asked it to. So just like saying let x represent y, or let this group of people represent this. So when we run this, so we have gender and average balance as 250. So moving on to the next, we say that we're being asked here to list all patients registered before 10 a.m. List all patients registered before 10 a.m. So for this, we'll have our select sales. Next statement, specify the table from patients data and come back here. So these are patients registered before 10 a.m. So we're gonna have them full name, then we're going to have we're going to have here for the yes, so we have registration time exactly, because that's the two columns that we are being asked to work with, the patient's full name and then the registration time. Then now you're going to use the where clause also, where registration time, I say them before, so it's going to be less than 10. So you're going to put this in quotation. Sorry if I forget that. 10 a.m. and close it. So when you run this, you're going to go into this column, registration time, and look for all the patients that registered before 10 a.m. to return it to you. So when we run this, we should have, okay, yes, full name Adobe Okafor Chinedu Eze and all this. So the where clause, as you can see here, is very important to return data. So you just need to like understand what the where clause does, what the group by does, what the other by does, and other, and other functions. It will give you, it will make it so easy for you to return tables. It doesn't have like, you don't need to know technical kind of like skills to do. So just understand what each of them does, so that it will be very easy for you to just write it down. Because SQL is one of like the easiest way to deal with data, because it's just straightforward compared to Python that you need to write codes and stuff. But this just goes like straight up English. Like um um it's not, how would I put it? It doesn't have much details that makes it confusing. Just straight up English. So moving on to the next, they say there we should find patients whose outstanding balance is exactly zero. So you see that at this point, we are not looking for patients whose outstanding balance is is higher than zero or below zero. So it has to be exactly zero. So um we're going to be using a comparison operator equals to. So equals to, that's going to use to go find, it's going to go into the outstanding balance column, and it looks for every outstanding balance that it equals to zero, and it returns it back to you. So we're going to start by writing the select statement from patient, right? Then we have when the patient puts outstanding balance, so they didn't specify if it's going to be a male or female patient. So we'll just go by the full name, and then outstanding balance. So we say where where outstanding balance equals 0.00. I'll close this and then we'll run it. So you see, we have Chinedu Eze and then Ifomanya. So these are the two patients that they cleared up their outstanding balance. They do not have any balance to pay off in the hospital. So moving on to the next. We've been asked here to retrieve the names and emails of all patients born before 1990. All patients born before 1990. So remember, they said we should retrieve names, that's full name, emails, and then date of birth. So you're going to write it select from patient data Then we have the said full name. So full name, email, we have email, and then dates of birth. So date of birth. Then we come down here. They give us a specific rule that they should be people who are born. Say people are born before 1990. So you say where date of birth is less than. So I'm going to put this in quotation. Sorry, it's less than 1990. I close it and then in the query. So when you run this, you should have the patients who are born before 1990. So we have Chinedu, Eze, Ngozi Ifeoma Aya, and we have the full name, the email, and the date of birth. So moving on to the next. So moving on, we're done with for the date of birth, 1990. We'll go to the next one. Show the patients with the highest outstanding balance. So there are three ways of doing this, but we could use the mass aggregate function. But when you use the mass aggregate function, it's just going to return only the outstanding, as in the mass outstanding balance, without returning the name. Yeah, so it goes this way. Let me show you. Select asked to return, show the patient with the highest. So this will just say select max outstanding come from patient data outstanding balance. What is it? Then you group it. Oh, sorry. Let's run this. So it's going to return just the column. Sorry, I didn't give this an alias as max balance. So we see that it gives us just the max balance. It doesn't give us the name. So now, if I want to return it with the name, just as they told us there, I'm not going to use this. Rather, I will use this. So I'm going to select top one full name, then outstanding balance. So this selects the top one full name, outstanding balance, the top one full name, that's the highest name in the outstanding balance. Then I'll order it by the outstanding balance in descending order. So when I run this, I should have the full name and the outstanding balance. So what if we say in ascending order? Let's say we say ascending order. Ascending order. Let's see what this will give us. So from ascending order means starting from the highest down to the lowest. So it's not going to work since we're selecting the top one. So for the top one, we must use the descending order. So we must use the descending order here. So when you do this, you have Adobe or Cal for ascending order. So moving on to the next. So sorry, before I continue, in our next class, we won't be having a task. Actually, we'll be discussing about SQL and then discussing about database and other stuff, defining data type like the proper way. What do I mean by what do they mean by int? What do they mean by varchar, char, and nchar, and the rest of them. So I will also use that means to talk about the where clause, the group by clause, auto by clause, um aggregates the um the comparison operators and other operators, because I know definitely I'm going to have like a more a more designed, or will I say a more, oh, I'm going to like have a more designed schedule or a better timetable or a better printout on how to um, go on with that course. So moving on to the next, um, we should be done with the full name, outstanding balance, patient data, with the outstanding balance, patient data. So now I'm going to go next to count how many male and female patients are in the hospital. So for counting how many male and female patients in the hospital, we're going to use the count. So we say select program from, specify the table, patient data. So the count is going to be a count. So we're counting everything here actually. So we're counting the whole table because we need to specify if we should count just for male or for female. So since we're counting the whole gender and the number of patients, that's male certain amount, female certain amount. So we're gonna have, so let's count, give it an alias as full count. Yes. So when we run this, we should have five of them. So but if we want to know how many male and how many female are there, we're going to also select gender. So we have gender, uh, gender, then we group it, group by gender, run this. So we have 3 females and 2 males. So this goes into the column and look for those male and female, then group it into different destinies. So we have the female and we have the male. So moving on to the next, we have just for counting number of patients. Okay, yes, they asked us to count how many male and female patients are in the table. So going to the next, list all patients whose phone number starts with 080. So for phone number starting with 080, we're going to be using a comparison operator to do that. Called a like comparison operator. So we do a select for the table from assist table, patients data, and go back up. Okay, select all patients whose phone number. So we're just going to use the full name for this, full name and the phone number, full name and phone number. So we're going to do where phone number, let's say where phone number, like, then we do, since they say it starts, meaning it starts with 080. So now there are two like comparison operators. There is the underscore, and then there is the percent. So underscore does, what the underscore does, and what the percent, what they both do is this. For the percent is that if you don't know the amount of, like, if you don't know the length of the characters that's in front of that completes the 080. Let's say you don't know if it's 080, 1, 2, 3, 4, like up to other digits, then you use the percent. But if you're specific, like, okay, it's 080, then one digit, and then that's all, then um you use the underscore for it. But since we do not know, we're going to use the percent for it, because the number is going to be like a 15 digit or 11 digit number. So when you do this, you run it. So you see, we get back all the full name and the phone number that start with 080. So if I had used the underscore, let me use it. Um, let me use the underscores to that I mean, if I'd use the underscore, we're going to be getting I'm going to be getting an error. So this will take time to run, because it's just going to look for 080, then any digit that starts next after. So you see, it didn't get anyone. It didn't get anyone. So you're going to return a blank data for us, because all the whole numbers there start with 080, and then there are a couple of digits behind it. So using this, so we go back, we return it back. So moving to the next. The next, we're being asked to list all patients find patients whose name contains the letter E. Whose name contains the letter E. So you specify if it starts with an E or ends with an E, or in the middle, or the next character after the first, or so and so. And doing this, you're still going to use the same like comparison operator, but in this case, we're still going to use the same percent for it. So I'm going to have a select full name. Okay, let me just come down there from patients data. Then we do select full name. Select full name. What else did this say? Front user business starting there that bit. Then we go down. Let me see where full name. Full name like. Let me specify. So since we don't know how many characters before the E, or does it start or does it end, and probably there might be a E before another E, so a double E. So you just go by this. Sorry, go by this, then you write your E and you close it with the percent again, and you back. So in so doing, when it goes to the full name to look for any row that has any letter that just has E in it, it doesn't matter if the E is in the middle or starts with it or anywhere. If there is an E, it's going to return it back. So let's run this. So when we run this, so we have Chinedu, there's an E, Eze, and so on and so on. So moving on to the next. So moving on, So we're done with um, searching for a patient, any patient name that contains E. So move to the next, and the next will be display all patients sorted by their outstanding balance in descending order. Sorted by their outstanding balance in descending order. So to do this, you're going to be using the order by clause. So what the order by clause does is that when you want to return data in an orderly form, maybe by ascending order, descending order, probably you wanted to know what patient has like the highest depth, followed by who has the least, and then down to the person who doesn't who's the the smallest. So you use the order by clause. So we're going to write our select statement. So we write full name, standing balance. We specify from patient data. Then we write the by standing balance. Okay, run this. So we won't be waiting for it to run. We go continue. Here, so you have the full name, standing balance. So it goes from the highest down to the lowest. So the next question says we should show the youngest patient in the table. So for this, we're going to be using I'm going to write a query. I'm going to write a subquery. I'm going to write the main query, then I'm going to write another query under that main query. So it's going to run both. But the subquery is going to run first before the main query. Why did I say so? I've been asked to return the youngest patients in the table. So the way I'm going to run mine is going to require me to do that subquery and main query. So let me go down. So this one I'm going to write the select statement. Then before I go on to write the subquery. So we have select full name, because these are the two columns. They say the name, the patient. So the patient is the name, and then the youngest person the date of birth. So select full name, patient, date of birth. Then I'm going to use the where date of birth is equals. So this is what we mean. Where date of birth is equals. Then we try to subquery. So this subquery now is not going to run. Then when it's run, it's going to return that data. Like that's what it's going to that subquery is what it's going to use to run in the main date of birth and get the youngest person here for us. So we have select. So we have select max, specify date of birth. We have the table from patient's data, and we close it. So what this max does is that when it goes to the column, it looks for the highest number. Since date of birth isn't specified by, you're not using age in this place, we're actually using the year of birth. So the year of birth is that the person with 2005 is the youngest, and then the youngest. The person with 2000 is the oldest. So when you use minimum to return it, the person with 2005 is going to be returned, but it doesn't mean that that person is the youngest. Sorry, 2000 doesn't mean that person is the youngest, but you return that 2000 because it's the smallest number there. So when you use maximum, it's going to return the highest number, and that highest year of birth there, if you convert it in normal age terms, you're going to see that 2005 is someone who is younger than 2000. So yeah, that's how it works. So when we run this, we should be getting the highest value there, which is going to be the youngest person in our table. So yes, we have Emeka. That's 1992 first, and then 30th. So we move to the next. So the next, we've been asked to return our data, retrieve all patients who registered after 12 p.m. So this is going to be using the where. So when I have select, then We have from, patient, 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 data. So as part of the table, said you should return the, once you use full name, let's use full name, then we'll use registration time, registration, registration, registration time, and person data. Then we're going to use the where registration time, is greater than, so they said after, so going to use greater than, say 12 registration o'clock, and if AM or PM, close it, and we run this. So they said before we're going to use less than sign. So we run this, hopefully we should get the name and yeah, so we actually just have one person, which is a former Anya, came after 12. Came after 10. So to comfortable, like to be sure of what we have here, I think we'll do this and this. Let me see if I could run this and this. See how fast this will return. So we have information. So let's check through our data. We have to, so yeah, here, so we correct. So yeah, we earn the money. Okay, yes, and then that's the last task we've been asked to do. So in our last class, I said before earlier that we've been doing we won't be working on any tasks. We'll actually be doing a discussion. We're having a discussion on what is SQL, data types, and then we're defining more terms, like understanding what is really by, order by, CTE, window functions, and many more. So please do also subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share, comments, and please do not forget, the comments are really, really important. They help me so much that when I see a comment and you give me like, okay, this is what you feel I should do in my next video, or I'm missing out on just certain parts and certain and all those stuff, I'm going to like key into them and adjust. I learn every day, and your comments make me, they help me a lot. So thank you very much. I'm Collins, and you just learned a few tasks on everything learning on my YouTube channel, everything learning. See you in my next class. Thank you.